Hello there. My name is Alara, and welcome to the Late Night Science Channel. Tonight, we're going to explore something truly special, the peaceful, mysterious world of cats. These remarkable creatures who have shared our lives for thousands of years, who curl up beside us, who purr in the quiet moments. The relationship between cats and humans stretches back nearly 10,000 years. Imagine that. 10,000 years of companionship, of shared spaces, of quiet understanding. Long before we built cities, before we wrote down our stories, cats were there. It started slowly, you see, naturally. Our ancestors began farming, storing grain in simple buildings, and with that grain came mice, drawn to the abundance, and where mice gathered, cats followed. These weren't pets, not yet. They were wild hunters, sleek and cautious, watching from the edges. But they saw opportunity, and humans saw the value in their presence. The grain stayed safe, the cats had reliable hunting grounds. A partnership formed without words, without contracts, just mutual benefit, quiet coexistence. Over centuries, something beautiful happened. The cats grew less fearful, moved closer to the firelight. Some chose to stay, to raise their young near human dwellings, to accept scraps of food from gentle hands. This wasn't forced domestication, not really. Cats chose us, in their own way, on their own terms. They maintained their independence, that wild spirit, while accepting the comfort we offered. Today, cats live alongside us in nearly every corner of the world, but deep in their DNA, in their behaviors, in their eyes, you can still see those first wild cats who cautiously approached human settlements all those millennia ago. In ancient Egypt, along the fertile banks of the Nile, cats were considered sacred beings. Can you picture it? The sun beating down on stone temples, and within those temples, cats moved freely, honored, revered. They were associated with the goddess Bastet, who appeared as a lioness or domestic cat, representing protection, joy, the gentler aspects of the sun's power. Egyptian families kept cats not just as pest controllers, but as blessed creatures, bringers of good fortune. To harm a cat, even accidentally, that could result in severe consequences, and when a beloved cat died, families mourned deeply, genuinely. Some would shave their eyebrows as a visible sign of grief, a public display of loss. Cats were mummified with the same reverence given to humans, wrapped carefully in fine linen, placed in decorated coffins, buried with offerings for their journey to the afterlife. Archaeologists have found entire cemeteries filled with thousands of mummified cats, evidence of just how deeply these animals were cherished. The Egyptians understood something essential about cats, something we still recognize today: their grace, their mystery, their ability to exist between the wild and the domestic, between independence and affection. In honoring cats, they were honoring that balance, that beautiful tension between civilization and the natural world. Now, let's talk about something remarkable: a cat's hearing. Each of those soft, triangular ears contains 32 muscles. Can you imagine? 32 muscles giving each ear the ability to rotate independently, almost 180 degrees. A cat can point one ear forward, listening to something ahead, while the other swivels backward, monitoring sounds behind. This isn't just impressive, it's essential. It allows cats to locate prey with incredible precision, even in complete darkness. They can hear frequencies far beyond what humans can detect: ultrasonic calls of mice, the faint rustling of insects in grass, sounds that exist in a world we can't even perceive. Watch a resting cat sometime, really watch. Those ears never stop moving, twitching slightly, constantly scanning the environment. Even when a cat appears deeply asleep, its ears remain alert, rotating toward any unusual sound. This ability has been crucial to their survival, both in the wild and living alongside humans. The next time you see a cat, observe those ears. Watch how they move independently, each one a tiny radar dish gathering information from the world. It's a small reminder of how finely tuned these creatures are, how every part of them exists for awareness, for precision, for survival. And then there's the purr, that low, rhythmic rumble that seems to emanate from somewhere deep within. It's one of the most comforting sounds in nature, isn't it? But purring is more than just contentment. Research suggests the vibrations produced by a cat purring, typically between 25 and 50 hertz, may actually promote healing. These frequencies are known to help with tissue regeneration, reduce pain, even improve bone density. Scientists believe cats purr not only when happy, but also when injured or stressed, using those vibrations to heal themselves from within. It would explain why cats purr during labor, when they're ill, even sometimes when they're dying, a form of self-care, a way to manage pain and encourage recovery. For us humans, being near a purring cat can lower blood pressure, reduce stress hormones, create this profound sense of calm. That gentle vibration seems to resonate with something deep inside us, easing tension, inviting relaxation. To rest beside a purring cat is to be surrounded by a sound that heals both the cat and the person listening. There's something almost magical about it, something ancient and comforting, that steady rhythm, that peaceful hum. Cats sleep on average about 16 hours each day. Some sleep even longer, up to 20 hours. This isn't laziness, not at all. It's a reflection of their nature as hunters, as predators. In the wild, cats are ambush hunters, relying on short bursts of intense energy to catch prey. Between those moments of explosive activity, they conserve energy by resting, by sleeping. Domestic cats retain this instinct completely, even when food appears magically in a bowl twice a day. Their sleep isn't always deep, though. Much of it is light dozing, where they remain aware of their surroundings, ready to spring into action if needed. Only 25% of their sleep reaches those deep restorative stages where dreaming occurs. During these deeper moments, you might see a sleeping cat twitch its paws, flick its tail, make small chirping sounds. They're dreaming, replaying the hunt, the chase, the pounce. Watching a cat sleep is honestly a lesson in the art of rest. They find the warmest spots, the softest surfaces, curl into perfect circles, and just surrender completely to stillness. In a world that demands constant motion, constant productivity, cats remind us of something important, the value of simply being, of resting without guilt, of embracing peace. Whiskers are far more than decorative features on a cat's face. These specialized hairs, technically called vibrissae, are deeply embedded in the cat's body, connected directly to the nervous system. They're exquisitely sensitive to vibration and touch, acting as precision instruments that help cats understand their environment. The whiskers on a cat's face are typically as wide as the cat's body, and this isn't coincidental. This allows the cat to gauge whether it can fit through a narrow opening. If the whiskers touch both sides of a gap, the cat knows, my body won't fit through here. Cats also have whiskers above their eyes, on their chins, on the backs of their front legs, each set providing different information about the world around them. In dim light or total darkness, whiskers become even more crucial, detecting air currents, sensing the proximity of objects without direct contact. When hunting, a cat's whiskers sweep forward, helping it sense the exact position of prey even when vision is limited. Whiskers also communicate emotion, if you know how to read them. Relaxed cat, whiskers rest gently. Curious or excited, they point forward. Frightened, they flatten against the face. To observe a cat's whiskers is to read its mood, its intentions, written in the subtle movements of these remarkable sensory tools. Unlike humans and many other animals, a cat's collarbone isn't rigidly attached to the rest of its skeleton. Instead, it's free-floating, embedded in muscle, rather than forming a solid bridge. This unique anatomy gives cats their legendary flexibility, allowing them to twist their bodies mid-air, squeeze through impossibly narrow spaces, land gracefully after a fall. It's why a cat can leap from a high perch, rotate while falling, and land softly on its feet. This ability, known as the righting reflex, begins developing when kittens are just a few weeks old. The free-floating collarbone also contributes to that fluid, almost liquid movement cats have. Watch a cat walk along a narrow ledge or slip through a gap barely wider than its head. You're witnessing the result of this remarkable skeletal adaptation. Their spines are incredibly flexible too, with more vertebrae than humans and greater elasticity between each one. Together, these features make cats some of the most agile creatures on Earth. They move as if physics bends slightly in their favor, flowing through space with a grace that seems almost otherworldly, almost magical in its smoothness. When kittens enter the world, they're small, fragile, completely dependent on their mother. Their eyes are sealed shut, their tiny ears folded flat against their heads. For the first week or more, the kitten relies entirely on touch and smell to navigate this new world. It cannot see, cannot hear, yet somehow it finds its mother's warmth, locates milk with unerring accuracy. Around 7 to 10 days after birth, the kitten's eyes begin to open slowly, revealing cloudy blue irises that will later change color. The ears unfold gradually, becoming erect, allowing the kitten to hear for the first time. These early days are absolutely critical for development. The kitten is learning about the world through limited senses, building neural pathways that will shape its behavior for its entire life. By 3 weeks, most kittens can see and hear well enough to begin exploring beyond the nest. They stumble on unsteady legs, bump into obstacles, learned through trial and error. Watching a kitten grow during these first few weeks is like witnessing a tiny miracle unfold, a creature gradually awakening to the richness and complexity of the world around it, discovering sight, sound, movement, connection. All kittens are born with blue eyes, that hazy, pale blue you see when you look into a newborn's face. This isn't the kitten's true eye color though, just a temporary feature caused by lack of pigment in the iris and the way light scatters through the developing eye. As the kitten grows, specialized cells called melanocytes begin producing pigment, and the true color emerges slowly. This transformation usually begins around 6 to 7 weeks of age and can continue until the kitten reaches several months old. Some cats retain those blue eyes, particularly certain breeds like Siamese or Ragdolls, while others develop shades of green, gold, amber, copper. The final color is entirely determined by genetics, specifically the amount and type of melanin deposited in the iris. This gradual change is one of many small wonders of watching a kitten mature. Eyes that once seemed uniform and undefined slowly take on depth, brilliance, revealing the unique individual the kitten is becoming. It's a reminder that even the smallest details in nature follow intricate, beautiful patterns. Nothing is random. Everything has purpose and meaning. Language holds many charming surprises, and the collective nouns for cats are among them. When cats gather together, they form what's called a clouder. The word itself has this old-fashioned, whimsical quality, evoking images of cats lounging in a sunlit courtyard, prowling together through shadowed alleys. A group of kittens, on the other hand, is called a kindle, a word that also means to ignite or light a fire. It's such a fitting term for the way kittens bring warmth and light into any space, their playful energy brightening rooms, lifting spirits. There are other terms too. A male cat is often called a tom, while a female is a queen, a title that seems entirely appropriate given the regal bearing many cats possess, that dignified air they carry. Wild or feral cats living together are sometimes referred to as a colony, especially when they share common territory and social structure. These words remind us that our relationship with cats is ancient, layered with culture and affection. We've created an entire vocabulary to describe them, to capture something of their essence in language. Each term is a small tribute to the place cats hold in our lives and hearts. If you watch a cat carefully, especially when it's just waking or feeling unwell, you might notice a thin, translucent membrane sliding across the inner corner of its eye. This is the third eyelid, the nictitating membrane, also known as the haw. Most of the time it remains hidden, tucked away, but it can extend across the eye to provide additional protection and moisture. The haw helps keep the eye clean, sweeping away dust and debris like a tiny windshield wiper, and it distributes tears evenly across the eye's surface. In the wild, this extra layer of protection is valuable when a cat moves through tall grass or engages in a fight with another animal. If a cat is sick or dehydrated, the third eyelid may become more visible, a signal to attentive caregivers that something isn't quite right. Cats share this feature with many other animals, including birds, reptiles, some mammals. It's a small but elegant piece of anatomy, a hidden mechanism working quietly to keep a cat's eyes healthy and clear. Like so many aspects of cats, the third eyelid is a reminder of their wild origins, the evolutionary adaptations that have allowed them to thrive across millennia. Just as no two human fingerprints are identical, no two cat noses are the same. The pattern of ridges and bumps on a cat's nose is unique to each individual, a biological signature that could theoretically be used for identification. While we don't typically use nose prints the way we use fingerprints, the uniqueness of each cat's nose is a beautiful reminder of individuality in nature. If you look closely at your cat's nose, you'll see a complex landscape of tiny lines and textures, a miniature map unlike anything else in existence. This individuality extends far beyond the nose, of course. Each cat has its own personality, preferences, quirks. Some are bold and adventurous, exploring every corner, investigating every sound. Others are cautious and reserved, preferring observation to participation. Some seek constant affection, curling up in laps, purring at the slightest touch. Others maintain dignified distance, offering companionship on their own terms, in their own time. The uniqueness of a cat's nose print is just one small expression of a deeper truth. Every cat is an individual, shaped by genetics, experience, and that mysterious alchemy that creates personality. Cats experience the world through scent in ways we can barely imagine. To mark their territory and communicate with other cats, they rely on scent glands located in several key areas of their body. The most prominent glands are on their cheeks, which is why cats often rub their faces against furniture, doorways, your legs. This behavior, called bunting, isn't merely affection, though it certainly feels affectionate. It's a way of claiming you and the space as part of their territory, leaving behind pheromones that say, "This is mine, this is safe, this belongs to me." Cats also have scent glands on the pads of their paws, which is why they scratch objects. The scratching leaves both a visual mark and a scent mark, a double message to other cats. The base of the tail has glands as well, and cats may rub this area against objects when feeling particularly secure and content. These scent marks are completely invisible to us, but to a cat, they create this rich, layered map of their environment. Every object, every corner carries information about who has been there, when they were there, what they were feeling. In a multi-cat household, this scent communication becomes even more complex, a silent conversation written in molecules that we can't perceive, but that shapes the entire social structure. When a cat rubs against you, it's doing something quite profound. It's marking you as part of its social group, mingling its scent with yours, creating a shared identity that signals comfort, safety, belonging. There are few gestures more endearing than when a cat approaches, arches its back, and rubs its head and body against your leg. This behavior is an expression of trust and affection, absolutely, but it's also practical and purposeful. By rubbing against you, the cat is transferring its scent onto you, marking you as member of its social group. In the cat's world, familiar scents create a sense of safety and belonging. When a cat mingles its scent with yours, it's creating what researchers call a colony scent, a family scent that signals comfort and connection. This is why cats often rub against you when you return home after being away for hours or days. They're re-establishing the bond, renewing the scent that may have faded in your absence, reclaiming you as part of their world. If you have multiple cats, you may notice them rubbing against each other as well, sharing scents, reinforcing their social bonds. This behavior is called allo-rubbing, and it's one of the ways cats maintain harmony within a group, create peace and understanding without a single sound. To be marked by a cat is to be accepted, to be claimed as kin. It's a quiet honor, a sign that you've earned a place in the cat's world, that you matter to them in their own unique way. While dogs are known for their barking, cats possess a vocal repertoire that's far more varied, far more nuanced. Researchers estimate cats can produce over 100 distinct sounds, each with its own meaning, its own context. There are the familiar meows, which cats use primarily to communicate with humans rather than with each other. Kittens meow to their mothers, but adult cats rarely meow at one another. The meow has been adapted specifically for interacting with us, and cats often tailor their vocalizations to what gets a response from their human companions. Beyond meows, there are trills, chirps, chatters, hisses, growls, yowls, and of course, purrs. Each sound conveys something different, something specific. A trill is often a greeting or an invitation to follow. A chatter may occur when a cat is watching birds through a window, a sound of excitement or perhaps frustration at prey it cannot reach. A hiss is a clear warning, back away. A yowl can signal distress, territorial disputes, mating calls. The range and subtlety of these sounds reveal the complexity of feline communication. Cats aren't as demonstrative as dogs, true, but they're every bit as communicative. You simply need to learn their language, to listen closely to the variety of sounds they make, to understand the context in which they're used. The meow, interestingly enough, is a sound cats developed specifically for communicating with humans. In the wild, adult cats rarely meow at each other. They communicate through body language, scent, a range of other vocalizations, but the meow is largely absent from their interactions with other cats. Kittens meow to get their mother's attention, but as they mature, they generally stop using this sound with other cats. However, when cats began living alongside humans thousands of years ago, they discovered that meowing was effective at getting our attention. Over time, cats have refined this skill, learning which meows prompt us to provide food, open doors, offer affection. Some cats develop very specific meows for specific requests, and attentive owners can often distinguish between a meow for food, a meow to go outside, and a meow that simply says, "Pay attention to me right now." This is a remarkable example of interspecies communication, where cats have adapted their behavior to bridge the gap between their world and ours. The meow is essentially a linguistic tool designed for us, a sound that exists primarily in the space between human and cat. When your cat meows at you, it's speaking a language that evolved just for this moment, just for this connection between two different species learning to understand each other. Watch a cat walk along the narrow top of a fence, leap onto a high shelf, navigate a cluttered countertop, and you're witnessing the result of an extraordinary sense of balance. This ability is largely due to the structure of a cat's inner ear, which contains the vestibular system. This system is highly developed in cats, providing them with acute awareness of their body's position and movement in space. The vestibular system works together with the cat's flexible spine, powerful hind legs, and low center of gravity to create an animal that is exceptionally sure-footed. Cats can make minute adjustments to their posture and movement with complete confidence. This sense of balance also contributes to their famous ability to land on their feet. When a cat falls, the vestibular system immediately signals which way is up, and the cat's body rotates mid-air to position its feet downward. This righting reflex, combined with their flexible spine, allows them to twist and adjust even during very short falls. It's a feat of biological engineering refined over millions of years of evolution, perfected through countless generations. The ability of a cat to land on its feet after a fall is legendary, for good reason. This skill, known as the righting reflex, is one of the most impressive feats of natural acrobatics. When a cat begins to fall, sensory information from the inner ear tells it which way is up. Within milliseconds, the cat begins rotating its body, starting with the head and front legs, followed by the spine and hind legs. Because cats have no functional collarbone and a highly flexible spine, they can twist the front and back halves of their body independently. This allows them to flip right side up even when falling from relatively short distances. Interestingly, cats need a certain amount of falling distance for the reflex to work properly. Falls from very short heights, like a table, may not give the cat enough time to complete the rotation. Falls from greater heights allow the reflex to fully activate. However, falls from extreme heights can still be dangerous despite the righting reflex. Cats have been known to survive falls from astonishing heights, truly remarkable heights, but they are not invulnerable. The righting reflex is a survival mechanism, yes, but it's not magic. It's physics, biology, and millions of years of evolution working together in an instant. When a cat leaps, it's a display of pure athletic power. Those hind legs, with their strong muscles and flexible joints, can propel a cat upward and forward with remarkable force. On average, a healthy cat can jump to a height of about 5 to 6 times its own body length, which means a typical cat can easily leap onto a kitchen counter, the top of a refrigerator, high shelves. This jumping ability is essential for both hunting and escaping danger in the wild. Cats use their leaping power to pounce on prey from above, to quickly climb trees when threatened by larger predators. Domestic cats retain this ability completely, even when they have no need to hunt or flee from danger. You might see a cat suddenly spring into the air, seemingly for no reason, or leap across a room in a single bound. This is instinct in action, the joy of movement, the celebration of what their bodies can do, the pure pleasure of being able to move with such power and precision. Watching a cat prepare to jump is a study in focus and tension. They crouch low, eyes fixed on the target, muscles coiled tight like springs. Then, in an explosion of energy, they launch themselves through space, graceful and precise, landing exactly where they intended. It's a reminder that even the most domestic cat carries within it the spirit of a wild hunter, the legacy of ancestors who needed these abilities to survive. If a cat is not sleeping, eating, or playing, it's likely grooming. Cats are meticulous about cleanliness, spending up to 50% of their waking hours licking their fur, cleaning their paws, attending to every inch of their bodies. This behavior serves multiple purposes, all of them important. First, grooming removes dirt, debris, loose hair, keeping the coat clean and healthy. Second, it helps regulate body temperature. When a cat licks its fur, saliva evaporates and provides a cooling effect, similar to sweating in humans. In cold weather, grooming fluffs the fur, trapping air and providing insulation. Third, grooming is a source of comfort and stress relief. The repetitive motion and the release of endorphins create a calming effect, which is why cats often groom themselves when they're anxious or overstimulated. Cats also groom each other, a behavior called allo-grooming, which strengthens social bonds. When two cats groom each other, they're expressing trust and affection, reinforcing their relationship, showing care and connection. For a solitary cat, grooming is a ritual of self-care, a way to maintain both physical and emotional well-being. Watching a cat groom is honestly hypnotic. The slow, deliberate strokes of the tongue, the careful attention to every inch of fur, the way they clean between their toes with almost meditative focus. It's a reminder of the importance of taking time to care for oneself, to find peace in simple, repetitive actions, to honor the body that carries us through the world. If you've ever been licked by a cat, you know that its tongue feels rough, almost like fine sandpaper against your skin. This texture comes from hundreds of tiny backwards-facing barbs called papillae. These structures are made of keratin, the same material that forms human nails and cat claws. The papillae serve several important functions in a cat's life. They help the cat groom effectively, catching and removing loose fur, dirt, parasites. The hooked shape acts like a comb, detangling fur, distributing natural oils throughout the coat, keeping everything healthy and clean. Papillae also aid in drinking. When a cat laps water, the barbs draw liquid into the mouth in a very efficient way. Additionally, these barbs are useful for scraping meat off bones when a cat is eating prey in the wild. While domestic cats rarely need to strip meat off bones, they retain this ancestral adaptation, this tool that has served cats for millions of years. The rough texture of a cat's tongue is yet another example of how every aspect of a cat's anatomy is finely tuned for survival, for efficiency, for the life they've lived for so long. When a cat licks you, it's not just showing affection, though that's certainly part of it. It's grooming you, incorporating you into its family, treating you as it would treat another cat it trusts and cares for. It's saying, in cat language, "You're one of us. You belong. I care for you." A cat's claws are among its most important tools, used for climbing, hunting, defense, marking territory. Unlike dog claws, which are always extended, always visible, cat claws are retractable. When a cat is walking or at rest, the claws are sheathed within the paws, protected by fur and skin. This keeps them sharp, prevents them from wearing down during everyday movement. When a cat kneads its claws, specialized muscles and tendons extend them outward, ready for action in an instant. This retractable design is one of the reasons cats are such effective hunters. They can move silently, their claws hidden, making no sound against the ground, and then deploy them in an instant to grasp prey or climb a tree. The sharpness of a cat's claws is maintained through regular shedding of the outer sheath and through scratching. When a cat scratches a surface, it's not just sharpening its claws, it's removing the old, worn outer layer to reveal the new sharp claw beneath, like peeling away old skin to reveal fresh, healthy tissue. Scratching is instinctive and necessary, which is why even well-cared-for indoor cats will seek out scratching posts or, unfortunately sometimes, furniture. It's not misbehavior, it's biology, it's need. Providing appropriate outlets for this behavior is part of respecting a cat's nature and needs, understanding what they require to be healthy and content. Scratching often frustrates cat owners, but it's essential to understand that this behavior is not optional for a cat. It's a biological necessity, as important as eating or sleeping. When a cat scratches, it's not trying to destroy your furniture, though it certainly may seem that way. The cat is maintaining its claws, removing the dead outer layer to reveal the healthy, sharp claw underneath. You may have seen these discarded sheaths, small translucent husks that look like hollow claws left behind on scratching posts or carpets, evidence of the natural process occurring. Scratching also serves to stretch the muscles in a cat's legs, shoulders, back. After a long nap, a good scratch is like a yoga pose, lengthening the body, releasing tension, awakening muscles. Additionally, scratching deposits scent from the glands in a cat's paws, marking territory, communicating with other cats. For a cat, scratching is physical maintenance, exercise, and communication all rolled into one behavior, all happening simultaneously. Understanding this can help cat owners provide appropriate scratching surfaces and redirect the behavior away from furniture. Cats are not being destructive out of spite, out of malice. They're simply being cats, following instincts that have served them well for millions of years, doing what their bodies tell them they must do. When you look at a cat face on, you're looking into the eyes of a hunter. Those large, forward-facing eyes provide excellent depth perception, crucial for judging distances when pouncing on prey. But what's even more impressive is a cat's peripheral vision. While humans have a field of view of about 180 degrees, cats can see approximately 200 degrees. This wider field allows cats to detect movement on either side without turning their heads, giving them a significant advantage when hunting or watching for danger. However, there is a trade-off in nature. There almost always is. Cats sacrifice some visual acuity for this wider view. Their distance vision is not as sharp as a human's, and they're better at detecting motion than at seeing fine details. Up close, within about 12 inches, cats have difficulty focusing clearly. This is why a cat may sniff or touch something brought close to its face rather than simply looking at it, relying on other senses when vision fails. But in the mid-range, where hunting occurs, where the action happens, their vision is superb. They excel at tracking movement, which is why even a well-fed house cat will become transfixed by a fluttering insect or a toy dragged across the floor. Their eyes are finely tuned for the chase, for that crucial moment when movement becomes opportunity, when stillness transforms into explosive action. One of the most persistent myths about cats is that they can see in total darkness, in complete blackness. While cats have exceptional night vision, far superior to ours, they still need some light to see, some photons entering their eyes. The secret to their low light vision lies in the structure of their eyes, in the remarkable adaptations that have evolved over time. Cats have a high concentration of rod cells, which are photoreceptors that detect light and motion, but not color. Humans have more cone cells, which allow us to see color and detail in bright light, to appreciate the full spectrum. But cats' abundance of rods makes them much more sensitive to dim light, to those conditions at dawn and dusk, when the world is neither bright nor truly dark. Additionally, cats have a layer of tissue behind the retina called the tapetum lucidum. This reflective layer acts like a mirror, bouncing light back through the retina, giving the photoreceptors a second chance to capture it, essentially amplifying whatever light is available. This is why cat eyes seem to glow in the dark when light shines on them, when a flashlight beam or car headlights catch them just right. You're seeing the reflection from the tapetum lucidum, light bouncing back out of the eye. In very low light, cats can see about 6 to 8 times better than humans, but in complete darkness, where there is absolutely no light at all, cats are just as blind as we are. They rely instead on their other senses, particularly hearing, whiskers, their sense of smell, to navigate safely. The glowing eyes of a cat at night are caused by that reflective layer, the tapetum lucidum. One of the most striking images of a cat is the eerie glow of its eyes in the dark. When car headlights sweep across a cat sitting by the roadside, or when you shine a flashlight into a darkened room, the cat's eyes gleam with an otherworldly light, often green or gold, sometimes blue. This phenomenon is caused by the tapetum lucidum, that specialized layer of cells located behind the retina. The tapetum acts as a biological mirror, reflecting light that passes through the retina back through it again. This gives the cat's photoreceptors a second opportunity to detect the light, significantly enhancing vision in low light conditions, making the most of whatever illumination is available. The tapetum lucidum is not unique to cats. It's found in many nocturnal and crepuscular animals, including dogs, deer, raccoons. Each species has slightly different tapetum structures, which is why their eyeshine appears in different colors, different hues. In cats, the color of the glow usually depends on the type of minerals in the tapetum and can range from green and yellow to blue and orange, creating that distinctive, almost supernatural appearance. This adaptation is a perfect example of evolution crafting elegant solutions to environmental challenges. For a creature that hunts at dawn and dusk, being able to see well in dim light is not just useful, it's essential for survival, for finding food, for staying alive. Many people assume that cats are nocturnal because they often seem more energetic at night, racing around when humans are trying to sleep. In reality, cats are crepuscular, which means they are most active during the twilight hours of dawn and dusk. This behavior is rooted deeply in their wild ancestry. The prey that wild cats hunt, primarily small rodents and birds, are also most active during these times, during these in-between hours. Hunting at dawn and dusk provides several advantages that have shaped cat behavior over millions of years. The low light offers cover, shadows to hide in, making it easier for cats to stalk prey without being seen. Their superior night vision gives them an edge over their targets, allows them to see what their prey cannot. This natural rhythm persists in domestic cats, even those who have never hunted in their lives, who have never needed to catch their own food. You may notice that your cat becomes particularly playful in the early morning or evening, racing around the house, pouncing on toys, engaging in what some people call the zoomies, that sudden burst of wild energy. This is not random behavior, not at all. It's the cat's internal clock signaling that it's time to hunt, time to be active, time to engage with the world. For indoor cats, this energy needs an outlet, needs expression, which is why interactive play during these peak times can help satisfy their instincts and strengthen the bond between cat and human, create connection through shared activity. Understanding a cat's natural rhythms can lead to a more harmonious household, to life flowing more smoothly, working with their nature rather than against it, accepting their patterns rather than fighting them. Whiskers are not just charming facial features, not merely decorative. They are precision instruments, vital tools for navigation and survival. A cat's whiskers, or vibrissae, are approximately as wide as the cat's body. This is no coincidence, no accident of nature. When a cat approaches a narrow gap, it uses its whiskers to measure the opening. If the whiskers fit through without bending, the cat knows its body will fit as well. If the whiskers touch both sides of the opening, the cat understands it may get stuck and will often choose not to attempt the passage, will find another way. This is a rapid, instinctive calculation that happens without conscious thought, without deliberation. Whiskers detect minute changes in air currents and can sense nearby objects without direct contact, without touch. This makes them invaluable for navigation in the dark or in tight spaces where vision is limited, where eyes alone cannot provide enough information. Cats also have whiskers above their eyes, which trigger a protective blink response if something comes too close, protecting those precious eyes. They have whiskers on the back of their front legs, which help them sense the position and movement of prey they have caught, held in their grasp. Whiskers are so sensitive that some cats become stressed if they have to eat from bowls that press against them, a condition sometimes called whisker fatigue. Respecting a cat's whiskers means understanding their importance, their sensitivity, and providing environments where they can use these incredible senses without discomfort, without stress. Even a cat that has never missed a meal, that has lived its entire life indoors with food appearing magically twice a day, carries within it the instincts of a hunter. The hunting drive is not about hunger, not about necessity, it's about instinct, practice, the satisfaction of engaging in a behavior that is deeply wired into the cat's brain, that cannot be suppressed or ignored. This is why a well-fed cat will still stalk, chase, pounce on toys, insects, even imaginary prey, shadows on the wall. Hunting behaviors in cats typically follow a sequence that has been refined over millions of years: stalking, chasing, pouncing, capturing, and sometimes playing with or carrying the prey. For wild cats, this sequence ends with eating, with sustenance. For domestic cats, it may simply end with losing interest once the prey stops moving, once the movement ceases. This can be confusing to humans, especially when a cat brings home a dead mouse or bird and seems to lose interest in it completely. The cat was not hunting for food, not seeking a meal. It was engaging in a hardwired behavior that brings satisfaction and mental stimulation, that fulfills something deep and necessary. For indoor cats, regular play that mimics hunting is essential for mental and physical health, for well-being. Interactive toys that mimic the erratic movements of prey can provide an outlet for these instincts, can satisfy these deep needs. Denying a cat the opportunity to hunt, even in play, can lead to boredom, frustration, behavioral problems. One of the more puzzling, and for some people quite unsettling, behaviors of cats is the tendency to bring dead or dying animals to their human companions. A mouse left carefully on the doorstep, a bird placed on the bed. These are gifts that can provoke a range of reactions, from horror to confusion to reluctant appreciation. The motivation behind this behavior is not entirely understood. Researchers continue to debate it, but there are several theories that make sense. Some researchers believe that cats are sharing their catch, much as they would with family members in a colony, with those they consider part of their group. Others suggest that cats, particularly females, are attempting to teach their humans how to hunt, much as a mother cat teaches her kittens. In the wild, a mother cat brings live or dead prey to her young, allowing them to practice their hunting skills, to learn the necessary techniques. Since many cats seem to view their humans as rather incompetent members of the family, particularly in the hunting department, they may be trying to help, trying to educate us. Another possibility is that the cat is simply bringing its prize to a safe place, its home territory, where it can be consumed or stored without fear. Regardless of the reason, this behavior is a sign of trust and social bonding. The cat is including you in its world, sharing something important, something meaningful. It is a gesture that, however unwelcome the actual gift may be, comes from a place of connection, of relationship. While dogs are famous for their sense of smell, cats too have a highly developed olfactory system. A cat's sense of smell is about 14 times stronger than a human's, significantly more acute. They have around 200 million scent receptors in their nasal tissues, compared to a human's 5 million. Cats use their sense of smell to gather information about their environment, to identify other animals, to detect food, to communicate through scent marking, through those invisible messages they leave everywhere. Smell plays a crucial role in a cat's life, from the moment they are born, from those first vulnerable moments. Newborn kittens, blind and deaf, use their sense of smell to locate their mother and find milk to survive those critical early days. As they grow, smell helps them navigate their world and understand social structures, recognize who belongs and who doesn't. When cats meet, they often sniff each other, gathering information about identity, health, emotional state, all through scent. Cats also have a specialized scent organ called the vomeronasal organ, or Jacobson's organ, located on the roof of the mouth. When a cat smells something particularly interesting, it may open its mouth slightly and pull back its lips in what looks like a grimace, like a strange expression. This is called the flamen response, and it serves an important function in a cat's life. By opening the mouth and drawing air over the vomeronasal organ, the cat is essentially tasting the air, analyzing pheromones and other chemical signals that regular sniffing might miss, that the nose alone cannot fully process. This organ is particularly sensitive to scents related to social and reproductive communication, to messages about availability, territory, relationships. Male cats often display the flamen response when they detect the scent of a female in heat, when reproduction becomes a possibility. But both male and female cats use it to gather detailed information about other cats and animals in their environment, to understand who has been here, what they were doing, what they were feeling. The flamen response is a reminder that cats live in a world rich with scent-based communication, a silent language we cannot perceive, that shapes their understanding of everything around them, of their entire social world. When you see a cat making this strange face, it's not being silly, not playing around. It's reading a message written in molecules, decoding information we cannot even detect. A cat's tail is one of its most expressive features, a living antenna that broadcasts mood and intention to anyone who knows how to read it, who understands the language. A tail held high with a slight curve at the tip usually signals confidence and contentment. A cat approaching with this tail posture is likely feeling friendly and may be seeking interaction, seeking connection. A tail that is puffed up like a bottle brush indicates fear or aggression. The cat is trying to appear larger, more intimidating, more dangerous. A tail tucked tightly against the body suggests submission or fear, a cat making itself small. A tail that is lashing or thumping from side to side signals agitation or frustration, a warning. If you are petting a cat and its tail begins to twitch or whip, it is often a warning that the cat is reaching its tolerance limit and may bite or scratch if the interaction continues, if you don't stop. A tail that is gently swaying may indicate focus, such as when a cat is watching prey or preparing to pounce, when all attention is concentrated on one thing. There are many subtle variations, and individual cats may have their own unique tail language, their own vocabulary. Observing a cat's tail in different situations can teach you a great deal about its emotional state and help you respond appropriately, with understanding and respect. The tail is a window into the cat's inner world, a form of communication that is constantly happening if only we pay attention, if only we learn to read the signals. One of the most common misunderstandings between cats and humans, especially those more familiar with dogs, is the meaning of a wagging tail. In dogs, a wagging tail generally indicates excitement or happiness, a positive emotional state. In cats, it is often the opposite, often means something very different. A cat's tail moving slowly from side to side or thumping against the ground usually signals annoyance, frustration, overstimulation. If a cat's tail is lashing rapidly, moving fast and hard, it may be on the verge of aggression, ready to defend itself or attack. This is a warning sign, a communication that says clearly, back off, give me space, leave me alone. Many people have been surprised by a bite or a scratch from a cat they thought was happy simply because they misread the tail signals, because they didn't understand the language. Cats and dogs speak different languages, and their tails are a perfect example of this fundamental difference. Learning to read a cat's tail correctly is essential for anyone who wants to understand and respect these animals, to build trust with them. If you are interacting with a cat and its tail begins to move in that slow, deliberate, agitated way, it is time to stop what you are doing and give the cat space. Respect its boundaries. Respecting these signals leads to safer, more positive interactions and a relationship built on mutual understanding, on respect for each other's needs and limits. One of the most endearing behaviors a cat can display is kneading, that rhythmic pressing of the paws, alternating left and right into a soft surface like a blanket, a pillow, your lap. This behavior originates in kittenhood, in those early days of life. Newborn kittens knead their mother's belly while nursing to stimulate milk flow, to encourage the release of nourishment. The motion is comforting, deeply soothing, associated with warmth, safety, nourishment, love. As cats grow, many retain this behavior, kneading when they are feeling content, relaxed, seeking comfort. Some cats knead before settling down to sleep, preparing their resting spot, as their ancestors might have patted down grass or leaves to create a comfortable bed. Others knead their humans, which is often interpreted as a sign of deep affection and trust, of profound connection. The cat is treating you as it would its mother, associating you with safety and comfort, with everything good and warm. Some cats purr while they knead, and a few even drool slightly, signs of extreme contentment, of being completely at peace. While kneading can be uncomfortable if the cat's claws are out, if those sharp points press into your skin, it is not meant to cause harm, not aggressive. It is a vestige of infancy, a return to a time when life was simple and secure, when everything was taken care of. Watching a cat knead is a reminder of the lasting impact of early experiences and the enduring need for comfort and connection that we all carry throughout our lives. If you have ever wondered why your cat insists on sleeping on top of the refrigerator, a high shelf, the back of the couch, places that seem uncomfortable or strange to us, the answer lies in instinct, in survival patterns developed over millions of years. In the wild, elevated positions provide safety. A cat resting high above the ground is less vulnerable to predators and has a better vantage point to observe its surroundings, to see threats coming, to watch for opportunities. Even though domestic cats face no such threats in our homes, the instinct remains strong, deeply embedded. High perches offer a sense of security and control, allowing the cat to survey its territory and monitor activity below, to be aware of everything happening in its domain. This is particularly important in multi-cat households or homes with dogs, where a cat may seek out high perches to escape potential conflict or simply to have a quiet retreat, a safe space that is entirely its own. Providing vertical space, like cat trees, shelves, window perches, can significantly improve a cat's quality of life. It allows them to express natural behaviors, provides mental stimulation, reduces stress. When a cat climbs to a high spot and settles in, it's not just resting, not just sleeping, it's claiming a throne, a place where it can observe the world from a position of safety and power, where it feels in control. Understanding this need for vertical space is part of creating an environment where a cat can thrive, where it can be truly content. While cats may seem mysterious and alien at times, their brains share remarkable similarities with our own, more than most people realize. In fact, a cat's brain is about 90% similar in structure to a human brain. Both have a cerebral cortex divided into lobes responsible for processing sensory information, making decisions, storing memories. The similarities extend to the presence of both gray matter and white matter, and even to the neurotransmitters that transmit signals between neurons, the chemicals that allow thoughts and feelings to occur. However, there are important differences we must acknowledge. A cat's brain is much smaller, weighing only about 30 grams, compared to the human brain's 1,400 grams, a vast difference in size. Despite this size difference, a cat's brain is highly efficient, particularly in areas related to hunting, coordination, processing sensory information, the things cats need to survive and thrive. The structure of the brain also supports complex emotions that many people don't credit cats with having. Cats experience fear, joy, anger, affection, much as we do, though perhaps expressed differently. They form memories, both short-term and long-term, and they can learn from experience, adapting their behavior based on what has happened before. The high degree of similarity between our brains and theirs is part of what makes the bond between humans and cats possible, what allows us to connect despite being different species. We are not so different after all, and that shared neurological foundation allows for understanding, for connection, for love. While cats may not remember where they left their favorite toy 5 minutes ago, they have remarkable memories for information relevant to survival, territory, and social relationships. A cat can remember the location of food sources, safe hiding spots, the territories of rival cats, routes through their environment. They remember routines and patterns in their household, often knowing when it is time for meals or when their human typically returns home. Some cats will wait by the door minutes before you arrive, somehow knowing, somehow sensing. Cats also have strong associative memory, connecting cause and effect. If a particular experience was positive, such as receiving treats after a certain behavior, they will remember and repeat that behavior, learning quickly what works. Conversely, if an experience was negative, such as being frightened by a loud noise in a specific location, they will remember and avoid that place, sometimes for years. Studies have shown that cats can remember events for years, particularly if those events had strong emotional significance, if they mattered deeply. This is why a cat may continue to be wary of a veterinarian's office long after a stressful visit, why they may recognize a person they haven't seen in years, greeting them or hiding from them based on past interactions. Memory in cats is not just about storing information, not just data. It is about survival, about learning what is safe and what is not, about forming the bonds that shape their social world and guide their decisions. Just as no two human faces are exactly alike, no two cats have whiskers positioned in precisely the same way. The arrangement, length, thickness of a cat's whiskers are unique to that individual, as distinctive as a fingerprint. While all cats have whiskers in similar locations, on the face, above the eyes, on the chin, on the legs, the exact pattern varies from cat to cat, making each one unique. This uniqueness is not merely cosmetic, not just about appearance. The precise arrangement of whiskers contributes to the cat's individual sensory experience, shaping how it perceives and interacts with the world around it. Some cats have particularly long, luxurious whiskers that extend far from their face, while others have shorter, more delicate ones. Some whiskers curve gently, while others stand out straight and rigid. Observing these small differences is part of appreciating the individuality of each cat, recognizing that each is truly one of a kind. Just as you might recognize a friend by the shape of their face or the sound of their voice, the pattern of a cat's whiskers is part of what makes it distinct, what makes it itself. It is one more reminder that while cats share common traits and behaviors, patterns that unite them as a species, each is a unique being shaped by genetics, experience, and its own particular way of moving through the world. A cat's ears are marvels of biological engineering, truly remarkable pieces of anatomy. Each ear can move independently, rotating up to 180 degrees to capture sound from nearly any direction, from in front, behind, above, below. This ability is controlled by 32 muscles in each ear, giving the cat extraordinary precision in locating the source of even the smallest sound, the smallest noise. When a cat hears something interesting, something worth attending to, you will often see both ears swivel toward the sound, locking onto it like radar dishes, like precision instruments. If there are multiple sounds coming from different directions, the cat can aim one ear in one direction and the other ear elsewhere, processing information from both sources simultaneously, creating a complete picture of the auditory environment. This is crucial for hunting, absolutely essential. A cat stalking prey relies heavily on sound to pinpoint the exact location of a mouse rustling under leaves or a bird fluttering in a bush, sounds that might be invisible but are never silent. The ability to locate sound with such accuracy allows the cat to pounce with precision even when the prey is partially hidden, even when vision alone would not be enough. This ear mobility also helps cats stay aware of their surroundings while doing other activities. A cat grooming itself or eating may appear focused on that task, absorbed in what it's doing, but its ears are constantly moving, constantly monitoring the environment for potential threats or opportunities, for anything unusual or interesting. The ears are always listening, always alert, gathering information from the world in every direction, creating a complete sensory map. While drooling is more commonly associated with dogs, some cats also drool when they are exceptionally happy or relaxed. This is not a sign of illness, not a problem, but rather a symptom of extreme contentment. The drooling often occurs during moments of deep relaxation, such as when a cat is being petted in just the right spot, purring loudly, perhaps kneading with its paws, completely at peace. The sensation is so pleasurable that the cat's body responds with a slight loss of control over salivation, a physical expression of overwhelming happiness. Not all cats do this, only some, and those that do may only drool in specific circumstances, in particular moments. For cats who are known to drool when happy, it is a charming quirk, a sign that they are utterly at peace, completely content. Of course, excessive drooling or sudden onset of drooling can indicate dental issues or other health problems, so it is important to distinguish between the happy drool of a relaxed cat and drooling that might signal something wrong, something requiring attention. But when a cat is purring in your lap, eyes half closed, kneading gently, and a small drop of drool appears, you can be confident that the cat is experiencing a moment of profound happiness, of complete trust. It is a vulnerability, a sign of trust, and a testament to the bond between you, to the safety the cat feels in your presence. In the language of cats, eye contact can be complicated, nuanced. Direct, prolonged staring can be seen as a challenge or a threat, an aggressive gesture. However, there is one type of eye contact that carries a very different meaning, that communicates something entirely different: the slow blink. When a cat looks at you and slowly closes and opens its eyes, almost like a languid wink, like a gentle gesture, it is expressing comfort, trust, affection. Some people call this a cat kiss, and it's an accurate description. The slow blink is a way for cats to communicate that they feel safe in your presence, that they do not perceive you as a threat, that they trust you completely. You can respond to a cat's slow blink by doing the same, slowly closing and opening your eyes while looking at the cat, mirroring the gesture. Many cats will repeat the gesture, creating a silent exchange of trust, a conversation without words. This is a gentle, non-intrusive way to build rapport with a cat, especially one that is shy or unfamiliar, one that needs time to trust. Unlike petting or picking up a cat, which requires physical contact and can be overwhelming, a slow blink respects the cat's space while still communicating warmth and goodwill, while still offering connection. It is one of the subtler forms of communication between humans and cats, but it is remarkably effective, surprisingly powerful. In a glance, in that slow closing and opening of eyes, a slow blink says, "I see you, I trust you, I am at peace with you here, you are safe with me." If you have ever watched a cat staring intently out a window at birds or squirrels outside, you may have heard a strange sound, an unusual vocalization, a rapid staccato chattering or chittering noise, often accompanied by twitching whiskers and quivering jaw. This behavior is commonly called chattering, and it's both fascinating and somewhat mysterious, puzzling to researchers and cat owners alike. The exact reason for chattering is debated among animal behaviorists, and there's no single agreed-upon explanation, but there are several theories. One suggestion is that the chattering mimics the killing bite a cat would deliver to prey, a rehearsal of the motion even though the prey is frustratingly out of reach. Another theory is that the sound expresses frustration, that the cat sees the bird, its hunting instincts are fully engaged, but it cannot reach the target, cannot complete the sequence. The chattering is a release of that pent-up energy and excitement, that desire unfulfilled. Some researchers have even proposed that the sound might be an attempt to mimic bird calls, though this is less widely accepted, less proven. What is clear is that chattering is linked to the prey drive, to hunting instincts. It occurs when a cat is intensely focused on prey it cannot access, prey that remains tantalizingly close, yet forever out of reach. For indoor cats, this is a common experience, something many go through daily. Their world is full of visual stimulation, creatures moving just beyond the glass, tantalizingly close, yet unreachable. The chatter is a glimpse into the hunter's mind, a reminder that even in the safest home, the instinct to stalk and catch never truly fades, never disappears. Just as humans have personal boundaries and preferences about physical touch, so do cats. Each cat is an individual with its own comfort zones and sensitive areas, its own preferences. Most cats enjoy being petted on the head, cheeks, chin, areas where they have scent glands and where petting reinforces social bonding, where touch feels good. Many cats also appreciate gentle strokes along the back and shoulders, down the spine. However, the belly, paws, and tail are often more sensitive and may be off-limits for many cats, vulnerable areas they protect. A cat that rolls over and exposes its belly is showing trust, demonstrating that it feels safe. But this does not always mean it wants its belly rubbed. For some cats, touching the belly triggers a defensive response, and they may bite or scratch, not out of malice, but out of instinct, out of that need to protect vulnerable areas. Similarly, many cats dislike having their paws or tail handled. These areas are vulnerable, sensitive, and touching them can make the cat feel threatened, unsafe. Learning a particular cat's preferences requires patience and observation, requires paying attention. Pay attention to the cat's body language. If the ears flatten, the tail starts twitching, or the cat pulls away, it is signaling discomfort, saying stop. Respecting these boundaries is essential for building trust, for creating a relationship based on mutual understanding. A cat that feels understood and respected is more likely to be affectionate and relaxed, more likely to seek out connection. Forcing touch on a cat or ignoring its signals damages the relationship and can lead to fear or aggression, to breakdown of trust. While all cats can vocalize, some are far more talkative than others, far more willing to share their thoughts. Breed plays a significant role in how vocal a cat is likely to be. Siamese cats, for example, are famous for their loud, frequent, and often insistent vocalizations. They are known to talk to their owners constantly, expressing opinions about everything from meal times to perceived injustices to the way furniture is arranged. Oriental breeds such as the Balinese and Tonkinese also tend to be quite vocal, quite chatty. On the other end of the spectrum, some breeds like the British Shorthair or the Russian Blue are generally quieter and more reserved, more likely to communicate through body language than through sound. However, individual personality matters just as much as breed, perhaps even more. Within any breed, you will find chatty individuals and quiet ones, cats who love to talk and cats who prefer silence. Some cats are naturally chatty, engaging in conversation with their humans, meowing in response to questions, announcing their presence throughout the day. Others are silent, communicating primarily through body language and only vocalizing when truly necessary, when they absolutely must. For people who enjoy an interactive, communicative relationship with their cat, a vocal cat can be delightful, a source of constant engagement. For those who prefer a quieter household, a less vocal cat may be a better fit, a better match. Understanding and appreciating a cat's communication style, whether chatty or silent, is part of accepting the individual personality of the animal, part of respecting who they are. While humans have around 9,000 taste buds, cats only have about 470, significantly fewer. This limited sense of taste means that cats experience food differently than we do, that their relationship with eating is fundamentally different. They rely more heavily on smell and texture when evaluating whether something is appetizing, whether it's worth eating. A cat with a stuffy nose from a cold may refuse to eat, not because the food tastes bad, but because it cannot smell it properly, cannot detect those aromas that make food appealing. Interestingly, remarkably, cats lack the ability to taste sweetness entirely. They do not have the taste receptors for sweet flavors, cannot detect sugar, honey, anything sweet. This is quite rare among mammals, almost unique. This is likely because, as obligate carnivores, cats have little need to identify sweet foods like fruits, like plants. Their diet in the wild consists almost entirely of meat, and their taste preferences have evolved accordingly, shaped by millions of years of eating prey. Cats can taste salty, sour, and bitter flavors, and they are particularly sensitive to bitterness, which helps them avoid potentially toxic substances, helps keep them safe. When choosing food for a cat, it is important to remember that what appeals to human tastes may not appeal to a cat at all. Strong aromas, appropriate texture, and high-quality protein are more important than fancy flavors, than variety. A cat evaluates food through senses that are calibrated for a predator's diet, where smell and the richness of meat matter far more than sweetness or spice, far more than the things we humans prize. The inability of cats to taste sweetness is a quirk of evolution that makes perfect sense when you consider their dietary needs, their role as hunters. Cats are obligate carnivores, meaning their bodies are designed to derive nutrition almost entirely from animal tissue, from meat. In the wild, cats do not encounter sugary foods. They do not eat fruits, honey, other sources of sweetness. Over millions of years, the gene responsible for producing the taste receptor for sweetness became non-functional in the feline lineage, became unnecessary. Without evolutionary pressure to maintain this receptor, it was lost, abandoned. Today, all cats, from house cats to lions to tigers, lack the ability to taste sweet flavors, cannot perceive sweetness at all. This has practical implications for cat owners. While a dog might beg for a bite of cake or candy, drawn by the sweetness, a cat will show no interest, not because it has more restraint, but because it genuinely cannot perceive the sweetness, cannot taste what makes those foods appealing. Cats also should not be given sugary foods, as their digestive systems are not equipped to handle high levels of carbohydrates, not designed for processing sugar. This adaptation is a reminder of how closely a species' senses are tied to its ecological niche, to its role in nature. Every aspect of a cat's biology reflects its role as a hunter of meat, from its teeth to its digestive system, to the very structure of its taste buds, to the way it perceives the world. In the wild, a mother cat is both caretaker and teacher, both protector and educator. Once her kittens are old enough to eat solid food, usually around 4 weeks of age, she begins bringing them prey, beginning their education. At first, the prey may be dead, allowing the kittens to explore and practice their biting and paw techniques without danger, without risk. As the kittens grow more confident, the mother cat may bring live prey, releasing it near the kittens so they can practice their stalking, pouncing, and killing techniques, so they can learn the full sequence. This is not cruelty, not callousness. It is education. It is survival training. In the wild, kittens must learn to hunt to survive, must master these skills or starve. The mother cat demonstrates the process, shows them how it's done, and the kittens learn by imitation and practice, by watching and doing. Play among kittens also serves an educational purpose, serves a vital function. When kittens wrestle, pounce on each other, engage in mock battles, they are developing coordination, learning bite inhibition, understanding social boundaries, learning the rules of engagement. Domestic cats retain these teaching instincts even when hunting is unnecessary, even when food comes from a bowl. A mother cat with kittens will still engage in play that mimics hunting, will still demonstrate these behaviors, and even cats separated from their mothers at a young age will often play hunt with toys, their instincts guiding them to practice skills they may never need to use, skills that are nonetheless essential to who they are. This transfer of knowledge from one generation to the next is a fundamental part of being a cat, part of their identity. The transformation from helpless newborn to coordinated hunter happens remarkably quickly in kittens, faster than you might imagine. By around 3 weeks of age, kittens begin to show the first signs of hunting behavior, the first glimpses of the predator within. Their eyes are now open, they can hear, and they are starting to walk with increasing confidence, gaining control of their bodies. At this stage, you might see a kitten stalking a sibling's tail, pouncing on a piece of fluff, batting at a moving object. These early play behaviors are the foundation of hunting skills, the beginning of their education. Over the following weeks, the kitten's coordination improves dramatically, and its movements become more purposeful, more intentional. By 6 to 8 weeks, kittens are engaging in serious practice sessions, perfecting the stalk, the pounce, the grab, the bite, the entire sequence. Even though domestic kittens may never need to catch their own food, may never hunt for survival, these behaviors are hardwired, deeply embedded. They will emerge and develop whether the kitten is in the wild or in a living room, whether hunting is necessary or not. Providing young kittens with appropriate toys and opportunities for play is not just entertainment, not just fun, it is supporting their development, allowing them to practice skills that are essential to their sense of well-being and their identity as cats, to who they are at their core. A kitten deprived of play can grow into an adult with behavioral issues, frustrated by the lack of outlet for instincts that demand expression, that need release. One of the most astonishing things about cats is their ability to fit through spaces that seem impossibly small, ridiculously narrow. A cat can slip through an opening barely wider than its head, contorting its body in ways that appear almost supernatural, almost defying physics. This remarkable flexibility is partly due to the structure of the cat's collarbone, that free-floating adaptation we discussed earlier. Unlike humans, whose collarbones are rigidly connected to the rest of the skeleton, a cat's collarbone is small and free-floating, embedded in the shoulder muscles rather than forming a solid bridge. This allows the shoulders to move independently and compress, making the cat's body narrower, more streamlined. Combined with a highly flexible spine and the ability to rotate the hips and shoulders independently, a cat can navigate through gaps that would trap most other animals of similar size, that would seem impossible. This adaptation is incredibly useful for both hunting and escaping danger, for survival in multiple ways. A wildcat can pursue prey into narrow crevices or burrows, can follow where larger predators cannot, and it can escape predators by squeezing into spaces too small for larger animals to follow, finding safety in the smallest gaps. For domestic cats, this ability sometimes leads to misadventures, cats getting stuck in places they should not have ventured, should not have explored. But more often, it is simply a testament to the elegance and adaptability of feline anatomy, to millions of years of evolution creating this perfect hunting machine. The internal rhythms of a cat are quite different from our own, operating on a different scale. A healthy adult human has a resting heart rate of about 60 to 100 beats per minute, a steady drum. A cat's heart, by contrast, beats much faster, typically between 140 and 220 beats per minute, almost twice as fast. This rapid heartbeat is normal, perfectly healthy, and reflects the cat's smaller body size and higher metabolic rate. Smaller animals generally have faster heart rates than larger ones, a pattern seen across species. This is because they lose heat more quickly due to their higher surface area relative to their body mass, and a faster metabolism helps them maintain body temperature, helps them stay warm. The rapid heartbeat also supports the cat's bursts of intense activity, those sudden explosions of energy. When a cat chases prey or engages in play, its heart rate can increase even further, delivering oxygen and energy to the muscles at an incredible rate, fueling those lightning-fast movements. If you have ever held a cat close and felt the rapid flutter of its heartbeat against your hand, you were sensing this faster rhythm, this different tempo. A reminder that the life inside that small, warm body is running at a different tempo than your own, experiencing time differently. It is one of the many ways in which cats are both similar to us and distinctly different, sharing our world but experiencing it through a different biological lens, through a different filter. The reason cats sleep so much, those long hours of rest, is rooted in their hunting strategy, in the way they interact with the world. Unlike persistence hunters who chase prey over long distances, like wolves or wild dogs, cats are ambush predators. They rely on stealth, patience, and explosive bursts of speed and power, on precision rather than endurance. This hunting style requires enormous energy in short periods, tremendous output, followed by extended rest to recover and conserve resources, to rebuild energy. In the wild, a cat might spend hours lying in wait, watching for prey, remaining perfectly still. Then it launches into a sprint lasting only seconds, burning massive amounts of energy in that brief chase. Even if the hunt is unsuccessful, the effort expended is significant, demanding recovery. Sleep allows the cat to recharge, to be ready for the next opportunity, the next chance. Domestic cats, even those who never hunt, who never need to catch food, retain this rhythm completely. Their bodies are still designed for brief, intense activity, followed by long periods of rest. This is why a house cat might suddenly race around the apartment at full speed, leaping from furniture to floor, then collapse into deep sleep moments later, completely exhausted. It is not random, not strange. It is the echo of a hunting cycle, the pattern of predator life. Understanding this helps cat owners provide appropriate outlets for their cat's energy. Interactive play sessions that mimic hunting, short bursts of intense activity followed by calm, align with the cat's natural rhythms and contribute to a healthier, happier animal, to better quality of life. Unlike omnivores, who can derive nutrition from both plants and animals, who have dietary flexibility, cats are obligate carnivores. Their bodies are designed to process and extract nutrients from animal tissue exclusively, and they cannot thrive on a plant-based diet. This is not a preference, not a choice. It is a biological requirement, a fundamental need. Cats need certain nutrients that are found only in animal tissue, such as taurine, an amino acid essential for heart health and eye function, for vital functions. Without adequate taurine, a cat will develop serious health problems, potentially fatal ones. Cats also require pre-formed vitamin A, which they cannot synthesize from plant-based beta-carotene the way many other animals can, the way omnivores can. Additionally, cats need arachidonic acid, a fatty acid found in animal fat. While some animals can produce this internally, cats cannot and must obtain it from their diet, must consume it. Their digestive systems are also optimized for meat, specifically designed for it. They have a short digestive tract, efficient at processing protein and fat, but not well suited for breaking down plant matter, for digesting cellulose and complex carbohydrates. Even their teeth reflect this diet perfectly. Cats have sharp, pointed teeth designed to tear meat, not the flat molars needed for grinding plant material, for chewing vegetation. For anyone caring for a cat, understanding that they are obligate carnivores is essential, is foundational. It means providing a diet rich in high-quality animal protein and ensuring that the cat's nutritional needs are met in ways that align with millions of years of evolution with what their bodies were designed to process. One of the reasons cats are so graceful and flexible is the structure of their spine, the remarkable construction of their backbone. A human spine contains 33 vertebrae, including fused sections in the tailbone. A cat's spine, by contrast, contains around 53 vertebrae, depending on the length of the tail, significantly more. These vertebrae are smaller and loosely connected than in humans, with elastic cushioning discs between them that allow for a greater range of motion, much greater flexibility. The flexibility of a cat's spine also contributes to a cat's ability to extend and compress its body dynamically. A running cat stretches out, its spine elongating to increase stride length, then compresses, gathering energy for the next bound, creating that flowing motion. This gives cats their characteristic flowing, bounding gait, that beautiful movement we recognize immediately. The spine is the core of a cat's physicality, the foundation of its agility, grace, and hunting prowess. It is a marvel of biological engineering, evolved to create one of nature's most efficient and beautiful predators, one of evolution's finest achievements. If you have ever watched a cat walk, especially in slow motion or in mud where the prints are visible, you may have noticed something unusual, something distinctive. The cat's back paw lands almost exactly in the spot where its front paw just left, following the same path. This is called direct registering, and it serves several purposes, all related to survival and efficiency. First, it makes the cat's movement quieter, nearly silent. By placing the back paw in a spot already tested by the front paw, the cat reduces the chance of stepping on something that might crack or rustle, alerting prey to its presence, ruining the hunt. Second, it improves balance and coordination, particularly when walking on narrow surfaces like fences or branches, where precision is essential. The front paw tests the surface, ensures it's stable, and the back paw follows the proven path, the safe route. This gait is almost unique to cats among four-legged animals, almost exclusive to felines. A few other species use it occasionally, but in cats, it is standard. It is the default. Watch a cat walk slowly and deliberately, and you will see this precise, economical placement of each paw, each step considered and perfect. It is a small detail, easy to miss, but it reveals the deep evolutionary refinement of the cat's body. Every aspect of how a cat moves, from the flexibility of its spine to the placement of its feet, has been honed over millions of years for stealth, efficiency, grace, for being the perfect silent hunter. It might seem impossible that the small, purring creature on your couch has much in common with a tiner prowling through a jungle, that these could be related. But genetically, they are remarkably similar, surprisingly close. Domestic cats and tigers share approximately 95% of their DNA, an astonishing overlap. This close relationship is a reminder that all cats, from the smallest house cat to the largest tiger, belong to the same family, Felidae, and they share a common ancestor, a single origin point. The traits that make a house cat successful, sharp retractable claws, keen senses, a flexible spine, and carnivorous diet, are the same traits that make a tiger one of the most formidable predators on Earth, one of nature's apex hunters. The main differences between domestic cats and big cats like tigers are size, social structure, and specific adaptations to their environments, to their particular niches. But the fundamental blueprint is the same, the core design unchanged. Watch a house cat stalk a toy, and you are seeing the same predatory focus and technique a tiger uses to hunt deer, the same movements, the same intensity. Observe a cat grooming itself or stretching, and you are witnessing behaviors that tigers also perform, behaviors that cross species lines. This genetic closeness is humbling, profound. It suggests that the gentle, affectionate animal sharing our homes is, in a very real sense, a miniature tiger, carrying within it the legacy of wild, powerful ancestors, the same fierce spirit in a smaller package. There are countless stories of cats who, after being lost or relocated, have traveled incredible distances to return to their homes, to the places they know. These journeys can span hundreds of miles, over weeks or months through unfamiliar territory, across rivers, through cities, over mountains. The exact mechanism by which cats navigate these distances is not fully understood, remains somewhat mysterious, but it is believed they use a combination of senses working together. Cats may rely on their acute sense of smell, following scent trails that are invisible and incomprehensible to humans, picking up traces we cannot detect. They may also use the position of the sun, landmarks they remember, and even the Earth's magnetic field to orient themselves, to know which direction to travel. Some researchers believe cats possess a form of homing ability or sixth sense, though this remains speculative, unproven. What is clear is that cats have a strong attachment to territory, and in some cases to their human families, bonds that run deep. This attachment drives them to attempt these arduous journeys, to face danger and hardship to return home. Not all cats succeed. The journey is dangerous, and many do not make it home. But the fact that some do, against all odds, speaks to the determination, resilience, and navigational abilities of these remarkable animals. These stories remind us that while cats may seem aloof or independent, they are capable of profound loyalty and connection, of bonds that transcend distance. Home for a cat is not just a place, not just walls and roof. It is a feeling, a bond that can pull them across seemingly impossible distances, across landscapes we cannot imagine. Cats can hear sounds at much higher frequencies than humans or even dogs, accessing a range of sound we cannot even imagine. While the upper limit of human hearing is around 20 kilohertz, cats can detect sounds up to 64 kilohertz or higher, almost 3 times our range. This allows them to hear the ultrasonic vocalizations of rodents, which often communicate in frequencies above human perception, in a world of sound invisible to us. For a cat, the world is filled with sounds we cannot even imagine, sounds we will never hear. The squeak of a mouse is not just audible to them, it is rich with detail, allowing the cat to determine the exact location, distance, and even the emotional state of the creature making the sound, creating a complete picture. This acute hearing is essential for hunting, absolutely critical. Cats often hunt in low light or darkness, where vision is limited, where eyes alone are not enough. The ability to hear even the faintest rustle of leaves or the high-pitched call of prey gives them a significant advantage, tips the balance in their favor. The large, mobile ears of a cat are perfectly designed to capture these sounds and funnel them into the ear canal to maximize what they can detect. Even when a cat appears to be resting or disinterested, its ears are constantly working, swiveling to capture sounds, filtering the important from the mundane, the meaningful from the background noise. In a household, this means your cat is aware of far more than you might realize, hearing things you'll never notice. It hears the hum of electronics, the footsteps of neighbors through walls, the rustle of a plastic bag in another room, sounds that create a rich tapestry of information. The world to a cat is a symphony of sound, layers upon layers of audio information that we can barely comprehend. Many cat owners have noticed that their cats are fascinated by running water, drawn to it inexplicably. A cat may sit by a dripping faucet, bat at the stream, or drink eagerly from it while ignoring a full bowl of still water sitting nearby. This preference is rooted in instinct, in survival patterns developed over millennia. In the wild, moving water is generally safer to drink than stagnant water, more likely to be clean. Still water can harbor bacteria, parasites, other contaminants, dangers that could sicken or kill. Flowing water from a stream or spring is more likely to be fresh and clean, safe to consume. Over time, cats developed a preference for moving water as a survival mechanism, as a way to stay healthy. Domestic cats retain this instinct completely. Even though their water bowls are cleaned regularly and pose no threat, the sight and sound of running water trigger an instinctive response, a recognition that this water is good, safe, fresh, trustworthy. This is why many cat owners invest in water fountains designed for pets, special devices that keep water moving. These devices provide a continuous flow of water, appealing to the cat's natural preferences and encouraging them to drink more, to stay hydrated. Adequate hydration is important for a cat's health, particularly for kidney function, for preventing urinary issues. So anything that encourages a cat to drink more water is beneficial, helps maintain health. The next time you see a cat watching a faucet with intense focus, understand that it is not just curiosity, not random interest. It is instinct, a memory of wild ancestors who needed to choose their water sources carefully to survive, who learned to read the signs of safe water. Most cats have 18 toes total, 5 on each front paw and 4 on each back paw, a standard configuration. However, some cats are born with extra toes, additional digits, a genetic condition known as polydactyly. Polydactyl cats can have anywhere from 1 to several additional toes, most commonly on the front paws, creating impressively large feet. The condition is harmless and does not cause pain or mobility issues, is purely cosmetic. In fact, some people believe polydactyl cats have better balance and climbing ability due to their larger paws, due to the extra support. The trait is particularly common in certain regions and among certain populations of cats, clustering in specific areas. Polydactyl cats were once considered good luck by sailors, who believed the extra toes gave the cats better balance on rocking ships, made them better ship companions. Ernest Hemingway was famously fond of polydactyl cats, kept many of them, and a colony of these cats still lives at his former home in Key West, Florida, cared for and celebrated as part of his legacy, protected and honored part of his legacy. The extra toes can give a cat's paw a mitten-like appearance, making them look almost cartoon-like. And some polydactyl cats have impressively large paws, noticeably bigger than normal. Genetically, the trait is caused by a dominant gene, which means that if one parent is polydactyl, there is a strong chance the kittens will be as well, that the trait will pass on. Polydactyl cats are a reminder of the genetic diversity within the domestic cat population and the small, harmless mutations that make each cat unique, that add to the wonderful variety of cats in the world. The lifespan of a cat depends on many factors, on genetics, care, environment. These all interact in complex ways. Genetics, diet, environment, access to veterinary care, all of these influence how long a cat lives. On average, domestic cats live between 12 and 15 years, a good long life. However, with good care, many cats live well into their late teens, and some reach their 20s, becoming elderly companions. The oldest recorded cat lived to 38 years, an astonishing age, though such extreme longevity is rare, exceptional. Indoor cats generally live longer than outdoor cats because they are protected from the dangers of traffic, predators, disease, harsh weather, all the threats of the outside world. Outdoor cats face numerous hazards that can significantly shorten their lives, that put them at constant risk. Diet also plays a crucial role in longevity. Cats fed high-quality, nutritionally balanced food tend to be healthier and live longer, their bodies better maintained. Regular veterinary care, including vaccinations, dental care, and early detection of health issues, can add years to a cat's life, can prevent problems before they become serious. As cats age, they may slow down, sleep more, develop health issues such as arthritis or kidney disease, common ailments of old age. But many senior cats remain alert, affectionate, engaged with their surroundings well into old age, maintaining their personality and spirit. Caring for an aging cat is a privilege, a chance to give back to a companion who has provided years of comfort and affection, who has been there through so much. It is also a reminder to cherish each day with these creatures, whose lives, though shorter than ours, are no less meaningful, no less rich, no less full of love and experience. Many people find that their cats become more affectionate and seek out human company as they grow older, as the years pass. While kittens and young cats are often energetic and independent, full of wild energy, senior cats may become calmer and more interested in quiet companionship, in peaceful presence. This shift can be attributed to several factors, all related to aging and changing needs. As cats age, they may feel more vulnerable and seek the security and warmth that close contact with their human provides, seeking comfort and safety. They may also experience some discomfort from age-related conditions like arthritis, and physical closeness can be soothing, can ease pain. Additionally, older cats may simply appreciate the predictability and safety of their home and the presence of their trusted human, the routine and familiarity. An aging cat that was once aloof may begin to follow you from room to room, staying close. It may curl up in your lap more often, seek out your company, or sleep beside you at night, wanting that connection. This increased affection is a gift, a deepening of the bond that has been years in the making, that has grown slowly over time. It is also a reminder that cats are capable of change and growth, that their personalities are not fixed but evolve over time, shaped by experience, health, and the relationships they form. Caring for a senior cat, responding to their increased need for closeness and comfort, is one of the most tender aspects of sharing your life with these animals, one of the most precious experiences. The natural rhythm of a cat's day is tied to the movement of the sun, to the ancient patterns of light and dark. Cats are crepuscular, which means they are most active during the low light periods of dawn and dusk, those in-between times. This behavior pattern is inherited from their wild ancestors, who found these times ideal for hunting, optimal for survival. Prey animals, particularly rodents, are also active during these twilight hours, making it the most productive time for a cat to hunt, when success is most likely. The dim light provides enough visibility for a cat's excellent night vision to function, while offering cover and concealment from both prey and potential threats, creating perfect hunting conditions. In a domestic setting, this crepuscular rhythm often manifests as bursts of energy in the early morning and evening, those times when the light changes. A cat may wake you at dawn with enthusiastic play, or demand attention as the sun sets, suddenly full of energy. Understanding this natural rhythm can help cat owners work with rather than against their cat's instincts, can create harmony. Scheduling interactive playtime during these peak activity periods can satisfy the cat's need to hunt and burn energy, fulfilling those deep instincts, leading to a more peaceful night for everyone. It also means that a cat sleeping through much of the day and being wakeful at twilight is not being difficult, not misbehaving. It is simply following the biological clock that has guided felines for millions of years, honoring ancient patterns. When a cat decides to run, when it chooses speed, it is astonishingly fast, incredibly quick. A domestic cat can reach speeds of around 30 miles per hour, though only for short distances, only in brief bursts. This speed is the result of powerful hind leg muscles, a flexible spine that acts like a spring, and a lightweight build, all working together perfectly. In the wild, this speed is essential for catching prey or escaping danger, for survival in both directions. A cat's sprint is explosive and brief, designed for the final rush towards prey or a quick escape from a threat, not for sustained running. After these bursts of speed, the cat will need to rest and recover, will need time to rebuild energy. This is why you might see a cat suddenly tear through the house at full speed, racing from room to room, only to collapse panting moments later, exhausted. Compared to some animals, 30 miles per hour may not seem extreme, may seem modest. A cheetah can run 70 miles per hour, more than twice as fast. But for a small animal weighing 10 pounds or less, it is remarkable, impressive. The speed combined with agility and the ability to change direction instantly makes cats incredibly effective hunters, allows them to catch quick, agile prey. Watching a cat run at full speed is a reminder of the wild athleticism hidden beneath the calm, often lazy exterior we usually see. It is a glimpse of the predator within, the creature built for the chase, capable of extraordinary bursts of power and grace when needed. Just as every human has a unique fingerprint, every cat has a unique nose print, a one-of-a-kind pattern. The pattern of ridges and bumps on the surface of a cat's nose is distinct to that individual, completely unique. No two cats have the same nose print, making it a potential form of identification, though it is rarely used in practice, rarely necessary. The uniqueness of a cat's nose print is a small but profound reminder of individuality in nature, of the diversity within sameness. While cats of the same breed may look similar, with the same coat color and pattern, the same general appearance, each one is genetically and physically unique, completely individual. This extends to personality, behavior, preferences, and even the microscopic details like the nose print, like those tiny ridges we rarely notice. When you look at your cat's nose up close, you are seeing a map that belongs only to that cat, only to that individual, a biological signature unlike any other in the world, completely unique in all of history. This individuality is part of what makes the bond between a human and a cat so special, so meaningful. You are not just caring for a generic member of a species, not just keeping a cat. You are sharing your life with a unique being, irreplaceable and distinct, with its own quirks, habits, and the tiny, unique pattern on its nose that will never exist again. The tapetum lucidum is one of the most remarkable adaptations in a cat's eyes, one of evolution's cleverest solutions. This layer of reflective cells sits behind the retina, and it acts like a mirror, like a biological reflector. It bounces light back through the photoreceptor cells, giving them a second chance to capture the light, essentially doubling their opportunity to see. This gives the retina a second chance to capture photons, effectively amplifying the available light and allowing cats to see in conditions that would leave humans functionally blind, stumbling in darkness. The tapetum lucidum is why a cat's eyes glow when light shines on them in the dark, why they create that eerie, beautiful effect. The light is reflecting off this layer, bouncing back out of the eye like a mirror. The color of the glow can vary: green, gold, blue, depending on the minerals present in the tapetum and the angle of the light, creating different hues. This adaptation is shared by many nocturnal and crepuscular animals, is common among night hunters, but in cats it is particularly well developed, particularly effective. Combined with a high number of rod cells in the retina, which detect light and motion, the tapetum lucidum makes cats formidable hunters in low light, gives them a tremendous advantage. They can navigate, hunt, and play in conditions where we would be stumbling and helpless, where we would be effectively blind. It is one of many adaptations that allow cats to thrive in the spaces between day and night, in that twilight world, in the shadows where they are most at home, most comfortable. Whiskers are far more than decorative hairs, far more than appearance. They are highly sensitive, tactile organs that provide a cat with crucial information about its environment, about the world it moves through. The technical term for whiskers is vibraceae, and they are deeply embedded in the cat's skin, surrounded by nerve endings and blood vessels, connected to the nervous system. Each whisker is connected to the nervous system and can detect even the slightest touch or change in air pressure, the smallest shift in the environment. This makes whiskers incredibly useful for navigation, especially in the dark when vision fails. As a cat moves through a space, its whiskers detect nearby objects without the need for direct contact, without touching, allowing the cat to avoid obstacles and navigate narrow passages safely. The whiskers on a cat's face are typically as wide as the cat's body, as we discussed, allowing the cat to gauge whether it can fit through an opening, whether passage is possible. If the whiskers touch both sides of a gap, the cat knows its body will not fit, knows to find another way. Cats also have whiskers above their eyes, which trigger a protective blink if something comes too close, protecting those precious, vulnerable eyes. And whiskers on the back of their front legs, which help them sense the position of their prey they have captured, helping them know exactly where their catch is. Without whiskers, a cat would struggle to move confidently, especially in low light, would be disoriented. These remarkable hairs are essential tools for understanding and interacting with the world, for being a cat. One of the more perplexing behaviors cat owners encounter is the gift of a dead mouse, bird, or insect left on the doorstep, or worse, on the bed, presented as an offering. While this can be unsettling, disturbing even, it is important to understand the behavior from the cat's perspective, to see it through their eyes. There are several theories about why cats bring prey to their humans, several possible explanations. One is that the cat is sharing its catch, being generous. Much as cats in a colony share food with each other, bringing prey to you is a sign that the cat sees you as part of its family, as someone worth caring for. Another theory is that the cat is attempting to teach you to hunt, seeing you as incompetent. Mother cats bring prey to their kittens to teach them, to train them. And since many cats seem to view their humans as somewhat inept members of the family, particularly in the hunting department, they may be trying to help by providing a hunting lesson, by showing you how it's done. A third possibility is that the cat simply brings its prize to a safe place, its home territory, where it feels secure enough to eat or play with the catch, where there's no threat. Whatever the reason, this behavior is rooted in instinct and social bonding, in connection. While it can be unpleasant to deal with, it is actually a compliment, a sign of trust and inclusion. The cat is including you in its world, sharing something it values, something important. Responding with anger or disgust can confuse and hurt the cat, damage the relationship. Instead, a gentle redirection and quiet disposal of the gift, along with appreciation of the cat's intent, is the kindest response, the most understanding approach. One of the most common misunderstandings between cats and humans involves the belly, that soft, vulnerable area. A cat rolls onto its back, exposing its soft, furry belly, and the human interprets this as an invitation to pet, as a request for touch. But when the human reaches out, the cat suddenly grabs their hand with all four paws and bites, attacks. What went wrong? What was misunderstood? In cat communication, exposing the belly is a sign of trust and relaxation, not necessarily an invitation to touch, not permission. The belly is one of the most vulnerable parts of a cat's body, and most cats are instinctively protective of it, guard it carefully. When a cat shows its belly, it is saying, "I feel safe with you. I trust that you will not hurt me. I'm vulnerable and okay with that." It is not saying, "Please touch my belly," not giving permission. For some cats, any attempt to touch the belly triggers a defensive response, an instinctive reaction. The cat feels vulnerable and reacts by grabbing and biting, not out of aggression, not out of malice, but out of instinct, out of that need to protect. However, some cats do enjoy belly rubs. Some welcome that touch. And the only way to know if your cat is one of them is through careful observation and gradual testing, learning your specific cat. If a cat exposes its belly, try petting it on the head or back first, in safer areas. If the cat remains relaxed and even pushes its belly toward you, it may be open to a gentle belly rub, may welcome that contact. But if the cat's ears flatten or its tail twitches, showing warning signs, it is best to respect the boundary and admire the belly from a distance, to appreciate without touching. The grace and agility of a cat are supported by an extraordinarily well-developed sense of balance, a finely tuned system. This sense is centered in the vestibular system, located in the inner ear, deep within. The vestibular system detects the position and movement of the head and helps the cat maintain equilibrium, stay oriented. In cats, this system is highly refined, providing rapid and accurate information about the body's orientation in space, constantly updating. This is what allows a cat to walk along a narrow fence with confidence, to leap from one surface to another with precision, to land on its feet after a fall, to move through the world with such grace. The vestibular system works in coordination with the cat's flexible spine, strong muscles, and low center of gravity to create an animal that is exceptionally sure-footed, remarkably stable. When a cat falls, the vestibular system immediately signals which way is up, provides instant orientation, and the cat's body responds by rotating mid-air to orient the feet downward to prepare for landing. This righting reflex is instinctive and begins to develop when kittens are just a few weeks old, emerging naturally. The sense of balance is so integral to a cat's identity that issues with the inner ear can be deeply disorienting and distressing for a cat, can affect its ability to walk, jump, navigate, to be itself. For a healthy cat, the sense of balance is a quiet, constant companion, guiding every movement with effortless precision, making grace look easy. One of the most expressive features of a cat is its eyes, particularly the pupils, those dark centers. In bright light, a cat's pupils contract into narrow vertical slits, protecting the sensitive retina from too much light, from damage. In dim light, the pupils expand into large round circles, allowing as much light as possible to enter the eye, maximizing vision. This dramatic range of pupil size is essential for a cat's ability to function in varying light conditions to adapt to different environments. But pupil size is not only about light, not only about illumination. It is also a window into the cat's emotional state, a glimpse into what they're feeling. When a cat is excited, whether from play, fear, or aggression, its pupils may dilate wide, even in bright light, expanding dramatically. Dilation is part of the adrenaline response, preparing the cat for action by allowing maximum visual input, by gathering as much information as possible. Conversely, a cat that is relaxed and content may have narrower pupils, even in relatively low light, staying calm. Learning to read a cat's pupils in combination with other body language signals can provide insight into what the cat is feeling and thinking, into its internal state. Wide, dilated pupils can mean excitement or fear, arousal of some kind. Narrow pupils can mean calm, or, if combined with other signals like flattened ears and a lashing tail, aggression, threat. The eyes truly are a window into the cat's soul, shifting and changing with every emotion and environmental shift, constantly communicating. The relationship between cats and humans is ancient, stretching back approximately 10,000 years to the dawn of agriculture, to when humans first settled. As humans began to settle in one place and cultivate crops, they stored grain, which attracted rodents, created a food source for mice. Wild cats, drawn by the abundance of prey, began to frequent these early settlements, following the food. Over time, humans recognized the value of having cats around to control the rodent population, saw the benefit, and the cats benefited from the easy hunting grounds and eventually from scraps of food and shelter offered by humans, from protection and warmth. This was not domestication in the traditional sense, where humans actively breed animals for desired traits, deliberately shaping them. Instead, it was a mutual relationship that evolved gradually, naturally. Cats that were less fearful of humans and more tolerant of living in close proximity thrived in these environments, had more offspring. Over time, these traits became more common, became standard, leading to the domestic cats we know today, to our companions. Interestingly, remarkably, cats are less fully domesticated than dogs, retain more wildness. They have retained much of their independence and many of their wild instincts, kept that untamed core. This is part of what makes them fascinating, what makes them special. They are our companions, yes, but they are also still wild at heart, carrying within them the legacy of the solitary hunters who first approached human campfires thousands of years ago, who chose to come closer. The sound of a cat purring is one of the most soothing and mysterious sounds in nature, one of the most comforting. For a long time, scientists debated the exact mechanism by which cats purr, how they created this sound. It is now understood that purring is produced by the rapid vibration of the muscles within the larynx or voice box deep in the throat. These muscles open and close the space between the vocal cords, called the glottis, at a rate of 25 to 50 times per second, incredibly fast. As the cat breathes in and out, air flows through the vibrating larynx, creating the characteristic rumbling sound we know as a purr, that gentle vibration.
What makes purring even more remarkable is that cats can purr continuously while breathing, seamlessly, unlike most vocalizations which require a specific breath pattern, which interrupt breathing. This means a cat can purr while eating, while being petted, and even while giving birth, in moments of stress and joy alike. The purr is not just a single sound, but a range of frequencies and patterns that can convey different emotions, different messages. A soft, steady purr usually indicates contentment and relaxation, peace. A louder, more urgent purr may be a request for food or attention, a demand. Some cats purr when they are anxious or in pain, using the vibration to self-soothe, to comfort themselves. The purr is a form of communication, a way for cats to express their emotional state and connect with those around them, whether other cats or their human companions, creating bonds through sound. Whiskers are not only sensory tools, but also indicators of a cat's emotional state, constantly broadcasting feelings. When a cat is curious or interested in something, its whiskers sweep forward, extending outward to gather as much information as possible, reaching out. This forward position allows the cat to sense objects in front of it more accurately, which is useful when investigating something new or preparing to pounce on prey when focus is needed. When a cat is relaxed and content, its whiskers rest in a neutral position, gently framing the face, at ease. When a cat is frightened or feeling defensive, its whiskers flatten against its face, pull back. This is a protective measure, pulling the sensitive whiskers out of harm's way and making the cat's profile smaller, less vulnerable. It is also a clear signal to anyone observing the cat that it is feeling threatened, feeling unsafe. Learning to read the position of a cat's whiskers in combination with other body language cues can greatly improve communication between cats and humans, can bridge the gap. It allows you to respond appropriately to the cat's emotional state, offering comfort when it is anxious, engaging in play when it is curious, or giving space when it is frightened, respecting its needs. The whiskers are constantly communicating, providing a running commentary on the cat's inner world, always speaking if we learn to listen. Some studies suggest that exposure to these vibrations can improve bone density and aid in the healing of fractures, can have real physical benefits. While more research is needed to fully understand the mechanisms, to map out exactly how this works, the benefits are clear to anyone who has ever felt tension melt away while holding a purring cat, who has experienced that peace. The purr is a gift that cats offer, a sound of contentment that resonates beyond the cat itself, touching the person who hears and feels it, creating connection. In a world that is often noisy and stressful, full of demands and chaos, the simple act of sitting quietly with a purring cat can be a profound source of peace, a moment of stillness. Even cats who have never faced hunger and have never needed to hunt retain a powerful drive to engage in hunting behaviors, an instinct that cannot be suppressed. This drive does not disappear simply because food is provided, simply because survival is guaranteed. Instead, it seeks expression through play, through movement. For a domestic cat, toys become prey substitutes, stand-ins for the real thing. A feather wand mimics a bird in flight. A toy mouse scurrying across the floor becomes a rodent to be stalked and caught. A ball rolling unpredictably becomes a fleeing target, something to chase. Engaging in these play behaviors is not frivolous, not optional. It is essential for the cat's mental and physical health, for its well-being. Through play, the cat practices the skills it would use in the wild, sharpening reflexes, maintaining muscle tone, and satisfying deep-seated instincts that demand expression. A cat deprived of opportunities to hunt, even in play, can become bored, frustrated, and may develop behavioral problems such as aggression or destructive behavior, acting out. Interactive play sessions, where a human uses a toy to mimic the erratic movements of prey, provide an outlet for this energy, fulfill these needs. The cat stalks, chases, pounces, captures, experiencing the satisfaction of a successful hunt, completing the sequence. Providing this outlet is one of the most important things a cat owner can do to ensure their cat's well-being, to keep them healthy and happy. Like human fingernails, a cat's claws grow continuously throughout its life, never stopping. However, unlike nails, which we trim, which we maintain artificially, a cat maintains its claws through a process called shedding, a natural cycle. The outer layer of the claw, once it becomes worn or damaged, is shed to reveal a new, sharp claw underneath, like peeling away old layers. This is why you might occasionally find small, translucent claw sheets around your home, particularly near scratching posts or areas where the cat scratches frequently, evidence of this process. Scratching serves multiple purposes, all essential. It removes the old claw sheath, reveals fresh claws, it marks territory through both the visible scratches and the scent deposited by glands in the paws, claiming space, and it provides a satisfying stretch for the muscles in the cat's legs, shoulders, and back, physical maintenance. Because claw growth and shedding are continuous processes, never ending, scratching is a lifelong behavior, something cats will always do. Cats need appropriate surfaces to scratch, whether that is a scratching post, a cat tree, or a designated piece of furniture, something they can use freely. Trying to stop a cat from scratching altogether is not only futile, but also unfair to the cat, denying a basic need. It is like asking a person never to clip their nails, never to maintain themselves. Instead, the goal is to provide acceptable outlets for the behavior and to redirect the cat away from inappropriate surfaces, to guide rather than punish. Understanding the biological necessity of scratching leads to more effective and compassionate management of the behavior, to better solutions. When a cat is frightened or feels threatened, its body undergoes a dramatic transformation, a complete change. The cat arches its back into a high, pronounced curve, turns sideways to present the largest possible profile, and puffs up its fur, a reaction called piloerection, making itself bigger. The tail becomes a bristling bottle brush, and the cat may stand on tiptoe to add even more height, to appear larger. This display is designed to make the cat appear as large and intimidating as possible, a bluff intended to deter a potential aggressor, to avoid actual conflict. In the wild, appearing larger can be the difference between avoiding a fight and becoming injured, between survival and danger. Even though domestic cats rarely face such threats, the instinct remains strong, deeply embedded. The arched back and puffed fur can be triggered by anything the cat perceives as dangerous, from a sudden loud noise to an unfamiliar animal to unexpected movement. It is important to recognize this display as a sign of fear, not aggression, though the line can blur. Although a frightened cat may lash out if it feels cornered, if it has no escape route, the best response is to remove the perceived threat if possible and give the cat space and time to calm down, to feel safe again. Speaking softly, moving slowly, and allowing the cat to retreat to a safe place will help it feel secure again, will help it recover. The arched back and puffed fur are a window into the cat's emotional state, a signal that it needs reassurance and safety, that it's afraid. The hunting behavior of a cat follows a predictable sequence that has been refined through millions of years, perfected through countless generations. It begins with stalking, where the cat moves slowly and deliberately, keeping its body low to the ground, eyes fixed on the target with absolute focus. The cat pauses frequently, assessing the distance and timing, calculating. This is not indecision, but careful calculation, precision. Every muscle is tense, coiled. Every sense is focused, concentrated. The tail may twitch slightly, the only movement as the cat inches closer, patient. Then comes the pounce, the explosion. In a sudden burst of power, the cat leaps forward, covering the distance in a fraction of a second, impossibly fast. The front paws extend, claws out to grasp the prey, to secure it. If the pounce is successful, the cat delivers a bite, usually to the back of the neck, severing the spinal cord and killing the prey quickly, efficiently. This technique is efficient and effective, minimizing the risk of injury to the cat while maximizing the chance of a successful hunt, of survival. Domestic cats practice this sequence constantly, endlessly, even in play. A toy dragged across the floor triggers the stalking behavior automatically, and the pounce follows inevitably. Watching a cat engage in this behavior, whether with prey or a toy, is to witness a predator at work, every movement precise and purposeful, refined by evolution. One of the most iconic images of a cat is that of a feline curled up in a patch of sunlight, basking in warmth, completely at peace. Cats are strongly attracted to warm places, and this is rooted in both biology and comfort, in basic needs. A cat's body temperature is slightly higher than a human's, typically between 101 and 102.5 degrees Fahrenheit, requiring more warmth. To maintain this temperature without expending too much energy, cats seek out warm spots, places where heat gathers. Sunlight provides radiant heat, warming the cat's body and allowing it to relax more deeply, to conserve energy. Additionally, warmth is soothing to muscles and joints, which may be particularly important for older cats experiencing stiffness or discomfort, easing pain. The attraction to sunny spots may also be a leftover instinct from the cat's desert-dwelling ancestors, who would have basked in the sun during cooler parts of the day, using it for temperature regulation. For indoor cats, sunny windowsills and patches of floor where sunlight streams in become prized napping locations, highly valued spots. As the sun moves throughout the day, you might notice your cat moving as well, following the warmth like a pilgrim following a star. Providing access to sunny spots is a simple way to enhance a cat's quality of life, offering comfort and contentment with no effort required from the human, a gift of nature. The tail is often thought of as merely decorative or communicative, just for show, but it serves an important physical function as well, a vital role. A cat's tail acts as a counterbalance, helping the cat maintain stability when navigating narrow surfaces, making sharp turns, or executing complex jumps, providing equilibrium. When a cat walks along a fence or a narrow ledge, the tail moves subtly from side to side, adjusting the cat's center of gravity and preventing falls, keeping everything balanced. When a cat is jumping, the tail provides additional momentum and helps control the trajectory, guides the flight. During a fall, the tail is part of the complex system that allows the cat to twist its body and land on its feet, part of that remarkable righting reflex. The tail is also used for balance during high-speed chases and sudden changes in direction, common when cats are hunting or playing, when agility matters most. Cats with short tails or no tails, such as the Manx breed, can still maintain balance as their bodies compensate through other means, through stronger core muscles, but the tail is undeniably a useful tool and advantage. Watching a cat move, observing the subtle shifts and movements of the tail, reveals how integral it is to the cat's grace and agility, to its physical mastery. It is not just an accessory, not decoration, but an active participant in nearly every physical action the cat takes, essential to movement. In the wild, elevation equals safety. Height means survival. A cat perched high in a tree or on a rocky outcrop is protected from many ground-dwelling predators and has an excellent vantage point to observe its surroundings, to see everything. This instinct persists in domestic cats, who often seek out the highest points available in their environment, the tallest spots. The top of a bookshelf, a cat tree, the back of a couch, all serve as elevated thrones from which the cat can survey its domain, its territory. From this height, the cat can watch the comings and goings of household members, monitor for anything unusual or interesting, and feel a sense of control over its territory, mastery over its space. High perches also provide an escape from unwanted interaction, a retreat. If a cat is feeling overwhelmed by a rambunctious dog, a visiting child, or simply too much activity, it can retreat to a high spot where it feels safe, where it cannot be reached. Providing vertical space for cats through cat trees, shelves, or cleared-off furniture tops is an important part of creating an enriching environment, giving them options. It allows the cat to express natural behaviors, reduces stress, and gives the cat options for how and where to spend its time, autonomy. A cat that has access to vertical space is often a happier, more confident cat, more secure in its world.
Most people are familiar with the upper and lower eyelids of a cat, the obvious ones, but many are unaware of the third eyelid, that hidden feature. Also called the nictitating membrane, or haw, this thin, translucent membrane is located in the inner corner of the eye and can sweep horizontally across the eye to provide extra protection and moisture, additional care. In a healthy cat, the third eyelid is usually not visible, tucked away in the corner of the eye, hidden. It may become briefly visible when the cat is very relaxed, just waking up, or during a slow blink, but otherwise remains out of sight. However, if the third eyelid is persistently visible, covering part of the eye for extended periods, it can be a sign of illness, injury, or dehydration, a warning sign. The third eyelid serves several important functions, multiple roles. It protects the eye from debris and injury, particularly when the cat is moving through dense vegetation or engaging in a fight, when danger threatens. It also helps distribute tears evenly across the surface of the eye, keeping it moist and clean, maintaining health. The presence of a third eyelid is a feature shared by many animals, including birds, reptiles, and some mammals, a common adaptation. It is a reminder of the evolutionary history that all creatures share, an ancient adaptation that has persisted because it continues to serve its purpose well, because it works. If your cat licks you, whether on your hand, arm, or even your face, it is engaging in a behavior called allo-grooming, social grooming. In cat colonies and among bonded cats, mutual grooming is a common social behavior, happens frequently. It strengthens bonds, expresses affection, and helps maintain cleanliness, serves multiple purposes. When a cat licks you, it is treating you as a member of its family, extending the same care and attention it would offer to another cat it trusts and values, accepting you fully. The rough texture of a cat's tongue may make the experience slightly uncomfortable for humans, may feel strange, but the intent is affectionate, loving. The cat is sharing its scent with you, reinforcing the bond, expressing trust and care. Some cats lick their humans frequently, while others rarely do, varying greatly.
This variation is a matter of individual personality, personal style. Not all cats are equally demonstrative, and some express affection in other ways, such as sitting close, slow blinking, or bringing gifts, through different gestures. Understanding that licking is a compliment, a sign of social bonding, can help you appreciate the gesture, even if it feels a bit odd, even if it's not entirely comfortable. It is one of the many ways cats communicate love, using behaviors that are natural and meaningful in their world, in their language. Throughout history, cats have been shrouded in superstition and myth, in mystery and fear, particularly in Europe during the Middle Ages, dark times. Black cats, in particular, were often associated with witchcraft, with dark magic. It was believed that witches could transform into cats, or that cats served as familiars, supernatural companions to those who practiced magic, agents of evil. This association led to widespread persecution of cats, especially black ones, which were often killed alongside accused witches, innocent victims. The irony, the tragic twist, is that the mass killing of cats may have contributed to the spread of the bubonic plague, as the rat population, no longer controlled by cats, exploded unchecked, spreading disease and death. Over time, attitudes toward cats varied by culture, shifting dramatically. In some places, cats were seen as bad luck, particularly if a black cat crossed your path, an omen. In others, cats were considered good luck, protectors of the home, bringers of fortune and prosperity. In Japan, the maneki neko, or beckoning cat, is a talisman believed to bring prosperity, welcoming fortune. Despite the dark history of superstition, despite centuries of fear, cats have endured and thrived, have survived. Today, they are among the most beloved pets worldwide, cherished companions. Their mysterious nature is now seen as part of their charm rather than a reason for fear, something to celebrate rather than condemn. The superstitions have faded, mostly, but the fascination with cats remains as strong as ever, perhaps stronger. And so, dear listener, as we near the end of this gentle journey through the world of cats, let yourself sink deeper into rest, into peace. We have explored so much together, the ancient bond between cats and humans stretching back 10,000 years, the remarkable adaptations that make cats such extraordinary creatures, from flexible spines to retractable claws, from sensitive whiskers to eyes that glow in darkness, each one a marvel. We have delved into their behaviors, understanding the language of slow blinks and tail positions, the rhythmic kneading of paws, the meaning behind the purr, all the ways they speak to us. We have seen how cats communicate, how they bond, how they navigate a world that is both domestic and wild, both familiar and mysterious, both ours and theirs. Cats remind us that there is beauty in independence, that affection given freely is all the more precious, that grace can be found in the simplest movements, in a stretch, a leap, a quiet moment in sunlight. They teach us to appreciate routine, to find comfort in small rituals, in the predictable rhythms of day and night. They show us that rest is not laziness, but a necessary part of life, essential, and that play is essential to well-being, no matter one's age, vital to the spirit. In their eyes, we see intelligence and curiosity, wisdom and wonder. In their purr, we feel peace, healing vibrations. In their presence, we find companionship that asks little but gives much, that offers comfort without demand. As you lie here now, perhaps with a cat curled beside you, or the memory of one held close in your heart, let the warmth of that connection fill you completely, surround you. Picture a cat in sunlight, stretched out in perfect contentment, its fur glowing golden, its breathing slow and steady and peaceful. Imagine the soft rumble of a purr, a sound that resonates with healing and calm, with safety. See a cat grooming itself with patient care, with meditative focus. A cat leaping gracefully from one perch to another, effortless. A cat curling into a perfect circle of fur and warmth, secure and at peace. Let these images carry you gently toward sleep, toward rest. The world of cats is one of contrasts, of wild and tame, of independence and devotion, of stillness and sudden bursts of energy, of shadow and light. It is a world that exists alongside ours, sometimes overlapping, sometimes separate, but always present, always there. As you drift now, let the quiet wisdom of cats surround you, embrace you. They know when to rest and when to play, when to seek connection and when to retreat into solitude, when to be still and when to move. They remind us that life is to be lived with grace, with curiosity, and with moments of deep, restful peace, with balance. Close your eyes now. Let your breathing slow, deeper and deeper. Feel the softness of the place where you rest as a cat seeks out the warmest, most comfortable spot, the perfect place. Let go of the day, of thoughts, of worries, of everything. Sink into the same deep rest that a cat knows so well, that complete surrender to stillness, to peace. There is nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to be, nothing to accomplish. Simply rest, simply breathe, simply be. And as you drift into dreams, know that the cats of the world continue their ancient rhythms, unchanged, sleeping in sunbeams, prowling through twilight, purring in the dark, living as they always have. They carry on as they always have, graceful and mysterious, elegant and wild. A reminder that some things endure, that some bonds can never be broken, and that in the quiet company of a cat, we find a peace that needs no words, that exists beyond language. Good night, dear listener. May your dreams be gentle, your rest be deep, peaceful and complete, and may you wake refreshed, renewed, ready to greet a new day with the same quiet grace of a cat stretching in morning light, in golden dawn. Sleep well, rest deeply. You are safe, you are peaceful. You are exactly where you need to be. And if you enjoyed this journey, this peaceful exploration, there are more waiting for you. More stories to help you rest, to guide you toward sleep. You can find them here. More gentle science, more soothing facts, more quiet moments. Until then, sweet dreams.